All right, hello, what's up, people? So here we are with another Tower Fantasy guide. Basically, here is my train of thought on what are the good units to reroll for early on, and here are my thoughts on them. First things first is we need to think about the team composition, because basically in order to have like a good to become really successful on early on Tower Fantasy, you want to have like a good composition. And for that, basically I want to categorize it into three different things, right? I personally think that if you're making a team, you should always have a shield breaker, because not having a shield breaker is just asking for like a really bad time in boss battles. So I would say you're doing a good job as a team if you have like at least one shield breaker, and then another is just, you know, for your DPS. Having a well DPS will allow you to be successful on even the solo content, right? Because you're gonna have a bad time if you have like shitty DPS. I know people suggest, oh, you can be like tank, you can be a healer, because ideally to become like a quote-unquote tank, you need the tank resonance, where basically you have to equip two of the same type, which is like the tank, two tank equipments, and two healer equipments. And early on, I do not suggest that, because you're gonna have to do, like, for example, the Bygone Phantasm and a lot of solo content still. So I would personally suggest just being able to stand up on your own. So that's why two things that I would say that are most important thing is having one, a shield breaker, and then two, a DPS. And then for the third part is basically whatever you feel like you're good at, or whatever you want to lean towards. Do you want to heal? That's when you can start putting in like a heal. Do you want to be more DPS? And what you would do is you would have to equip some other weapons that are good for quick swapping, where basically if you try to swap to it has like a burst skill, and they're good for DPS. In my opinion, my ideal goal is probably either King and then Tsubasa and Samir. That's probably like my number one choice. You know, other people probably have a different choice, and I will talk about why I like this one. This is not thinking about having a selector. Maybe you want to save your selector for like a rainy day, or maybe for later. And so there are alternatives that you can do, and I'll talk about the alternatives later. But for now, I'll just talk about this. If you do have, the main reason why I would want to go with either Tsubasa or Samir is because they have like a useful trait, and they are pretty good DPS. So Tsubasa has this thing called in their trait here, which basically adds attack when as you're attacking, and same with Samir, except for Samir it is damage increase instead of attack percent. Samir is better than Tsubasa's, and that's why I would personally I would go with Samir as like a higher just damage, but like Tsubasa also works. That's why either a Tsubasa or Samir is like my goal if I ever want to reroll. King is primarily my shield breaker, and so that's where we get it covered. Now, if you want to have like a substitute for the other ones, you could have like a Tsubasa, and then you can equip the SR, which is Echo, using her Volt Spear. And Echo has this something called Volt Spear, and this is one of those that are the quick swap to me, where basically once your charge is full, you just swap to this one. And this is good, and also it gives you a lightning coverage, because if you ever end up getting Tsubasa. And as a third weapon also, if you end up with Samir instead of Tsubasa, I would go with Enna's weapon, which is the Pummeler. This is another good DPS weapon, and in my opinion this is one of the highest performance, especially when I play during the CBT. So that's why I go with these. I would go with this setup if like I'm like a budget, I don't want to reroll too much, like, you know, oh god, I got the King finally, or I got a Meryl finally, and then I finally got a Tsubasa or Samir. If you don't want to have a reroll, basically these are good SR options, Echo and Ene. to use, and they're good also because you can max them out really easily. They're one of the SRs are one of the easier ones to max out into 6-star. Usually within like a month or few weeks of playing, you'll be able to like 6-star them, and at least by my experience during closed beta. Actually no, they gave out a lot of free stuff on that one. So why King, right? One thing is that for King, the main thing about him is the shatter. This is one thing that you need to start paying attention more. And shatter has, it's basically to break the shield, and if you don't break the enemy shield, you're gonna have a really bad time. And so what is a good breakpoint for it? Like, you know, if you want to extend it, like a 1-star on it is actually really good because it does increase the shatter by 15%. And what will happen on that is this single S will become a double S fire sight, and so for the shatter. And so basically what he's good at is for shield breaking and AoE damage. For the next one would be Tsubasa. Just to talk about it, she has really good charge meter and DPS breakpoints. And so so she has a really good charge rate, and so you'll be able to charge a lot fast when you use her. In my opinion though, the ideal for her is kind of 1-star to just get the buff utility. 3-star is probably the best, just like to get more AoE coverage into that. But other than that, I would go with 1-star at minimum in order to make the best use of her. I think 0-star is there. If you have her at 0-star, you do have a lot of other alternatives about it. But the good thing about her is that she is ranged, and that's why she is one of a good one. And that's the trait, like I mentioned, it is, in my opinion, like one of the best ones, just like below Samir. Samir, for the other one, is the main reason why she's good is because her stars are she has really good like aerial coverage, and like she has good AoE DPS. And again, the trait is one of the main things why she is really a high rating unit, in my opinion. Now, if I want to have like alternatives for them, I would probably go with Shiro, as she's another star shield breaker, but I would personally categorize her as a secondary shield breaker. She doesn't really always has a good usage for all of them. She is really good against like big bosses, or like if there's a lot of mobs, because her AoE goes and hits a lot of enemies around. But when the enemy is pretty mobile, she has have a hard time about it. So in my opinion, you need her to be 3-star to be like really good, because it does increase her rate on the shatter. But other than that, like she is struggling as kind of like your shield breaker. I would probably not use her as the main shield breaker always. Alternatives though, I would probably go, if you don't want to pull King, or if you didn't get King, you can use Reroll instead. And for the third unit, if you have either Tsubasa or Samir and you have like a shield breaker already, Reroll or King, you can choose to have Coco instead, or Huma. I think these are excellent options. As another option though, if you are pulling on the second week, the thing is, I don't think in the first week Nemesis and Cobalt-B and Claudia are going to be available. However, there was a notification that Claudia and Cobalt will be in the event banner, apparently, at least like in these leaks that was posted by someone and in Twitter. But you know, whether that's gonna be true or not, we're not sure yet. But if they are going to be available, then what you can do instead is you can roll for either like a Reroll or King, and then if you pull a Nemesis on the event banner, you can try to pick, like, use as pick ticket for Samir, for example. And option 2 instead, if you pull King and then Cobalt-B, then you can mix in with any other units, because there is a fire resonance when you have used Cobalt-B. instead. And then another option is either Meryl and King plus Claudia, and then I think for the last one you can put in Shiro in this, and Shiro and Claudia will have a physical resonance as well. And so these are like the different combinations that you could try to do if you are re-rolling on week 2. I don't think these are going to be available on week 1. If this is wrong, if this video is wrong when they are actually available on week 1, then that's good, right? But if not, then these are kind of like your additional options once they become available. As like a final suggestion, I personally don't like Zero or Crow. Both Zero and Crow need duplicates to become really well, and so I would probably avoid using them unless like you're dedicated or like the character. But yeah, that's gonna be it for my suggestions on who to pull for and what kind of team building I want to start with, because early on you're gonna want to be able to be self-sufficient. I wouldn't really focus on whether you want to be a tank or you want to be healer. I would just go with like just be a DPS or all around, so that you can cover yourself and be able to just support yourself and don't need to rely on other people. Oh, just make sure, please bring your shield breaker. I'm gonna hate you in my party if you don't bring a shield breaker, okay? That's gonna be it. Well, that's it for now, folks. Hope this video was helpful for you, and if you guys want to check me out, come visit me at twitch.tv/KaiJLV. I plan on playing the game a lot, so there's a chance that you'll see me on or possibly in the rankings. Just give me a follow on Twitch and make sure to click the like and subscribe in this YouTube channel. I plan on uploading a lot more videos on the game and hope to see you guys next time.